first met Kevin McCarthy when he was a freshman assemblyman in the legislature in Sacramento. He is a very good relationship builder. He is a very keen political tactician, and he's a very good fundraiser. And I think that the public, and often conservative media figures in particular, but Democrats are not immune to this, they look at congressional leaders and votes for congressional leaders as though this were a normal election, among voters, among the American people. And when you're a party leader, you exist in leadership because your peers have voted for you. And in Congress, your peers do not care if you're a good spokesman. Your peers do not care if you're charismatic. What they want to know is, do I trust you? Do you have my back? Are you able to take the heat so that I don't have to? And are you good at politicking and legislating so that I can stay in office and bring home achievements? And so you end up with political leaders, think of this, right? Like Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell, the late Harry Reid, departing Speaker Nancy Pelosi, former Speaker John Boehner, people that aren't, they'd never win a presidential primary because they're kind of boring and kind of ornery, but the reason that they rise, and if they're successful, the reason they're successful is because they know how to negotiate, they know how to garner consensus from members who all have different opinions about how things should be done, and then they know how to leverage all of that and win legislatively and win politically. And so when you're looking at, how has Kevin McCarthy done it, we don't know yet if he'll be a good speaker, presuming he's able to get the 218 votes on the House floor in early January. But we do know that he can raise money. We know he understands campaigns, and we know that he has a lot of very good relationships that he's built over many years.
Great description. That's why David Drucker is the senior political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. David, let's turn to the presidential thing. And we're not going to ask you to prognosticate because that's idiotic and a waste of everybody's time, even though everybody does it all the time. What have you made of the post-election atmosphere in terms of Donald J. Trump and his announcement and the reaction to it, the way the rest of the field is reacting? Thoughts?
I spent a couple of days in Las Vegas at the Republican Jewish Coalition, which is essentially the unofficial kickoff event for the 2024 primary on the Republican side. Look, I think Donald Trump remains formidable because of his relationship with the Republican base. So let's just stipulate that as we all understand why Trump is formidable, and that the base is not by any thrown him overboard, right? Just the opposite. But I do detect, and I will say, that a lot of Republicans look at Trump and they see a weakened figure, still formidable, but weakened after presiding over a third consecutive election drubbing for the Republicans, in which he was either the leader of the party or, in this case, the titular head of the party. He was responsible for many of the nominees. He dominates the political atmosphere, and Democrats defied history despite Joe Biden's low approval ratings. And so Republicans are very upset about that. They see him as weakened. And there, for the first time in 6-7 years, there are very open public discussions happening about whether or not they want him to remain as leader or whether they want somebody fresh. And so I think that in and of itself is very interesting. It may not matter in the end. It may be that there's a Republican primary and he wins it going away. It may mean that there's not much of a Republican primary, so he wins it going away. But at the moment, because he's no longer a change agent who has just recently taken the party by storm, but rather a defeated president who has dominated the party for the last 7 years, they're looking at him differently. They're grateful for what he accomplished. They wish he would have won re-election. Many Republicans now see him as an albatross, and so there is less fear about angering him, because if for Republicans that think he's the only one that definitely can't win in 2024, the feeling is, what do we have to lose? So maybe he gets mad, maybe he divides the party, but he's already hurting the party. And therefore, there's a lot more talking and a lot more strategizing about what do we do about all of this. Where just 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, all of the critics who thought this anyway were just very quiet about it, didn't know what to do, didn't want to say anything to upset the apple cart. And so I think that's what's different. I think for other Republicans who would want to be president, which means they have to beat him or move him aside, they are more willing now to examine how they go about doing this versus saying to themselves, what's the point? Nobody can beat him.
Right. And this is half anecdote and half data. I know you're a skeptical man, so take it with a grain of salt if you like, but last week, I think it was, we were talking about hang with Trump or keep policies, keep the judges, and move on to a different ball carrier. And it was astounding, David. It was hundreds to one in favor of moving on. Hundreds to one, including people who described their admiration for and loyalty to Donald Trump in poetic terms. I mean, they went on and on about how much they loved him, but said it's time to move on. It was overwhelming. And, you know, I attend no cocktail parties with senators. We're not part of any sort of media elite. We're probably regular guys with regular families and regular friends. And polls of our friends and families are like, no, time to move on. Again, overwhelming.
Look, I'm not surprised in that, number one, he has been on the scene politically now for almost the equivalent of 2 terms. And, you know, even presidents that everybody loved, that weren't polarizing, you get to years 7 and 8, people are just, they get tired. And they start to think to themselves, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody new? Who? I don't know, just somebody. Do you hate this guy? Because it's only been men so far. No, I don't hate him, he's been okay, but you know, I'm just poor. And so, and Trump's shtick has sort of, it's not as dynamic and innovative as it was because he's been doing it for so long. So he's a victim of his own success in a way.
Right.
But the other thing is, one of the things that Republicans like so much about Trump is that he won for them in places they had not won before. He did things that had not been done before from a policy standpoint because he was president. So the prospect of him no longer being able to win and therefore no longer being able to produce policy outcomes, I think leaves a lot of people, as you talk to, grateful, but hey, the whole point is get stuff done. So maybe we need to find somebody who can actually win so they can get stuff done for us.
If you want to know what's actually going on in D.C., you have to read David Drucker in the Washington Examiner, senior political correspondent. David, terrific as always. Great to talk. Thanks.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, you got it. I'm going to check in with Jack via telephone in the next segment or two. We've got all sorts of stuff to talk about, including the thoroughly screwed up World Cup of Soccer, or do you say football? Stay with us.
Armstrong and Getty. Tired of overpaying for your cell phone bill? Switch to Consumer Cellular and save up to half on your wireless plan. Their award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer support team makes switching easy. Plus, you can keep your phone and number with no contract or activation fees. They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month. You can easily add your family and friends to your plan for just $15 a month per line. Never worry about dropped calls. Consumer Cellular has the exact same coverage as the major carriers to over 99% of the nation. This is all backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee. Join the millions of others who have switched. Go to consumercellular.com/radio25 and for a limited time, get $25 off when you use promo code radio25. That's consumercellular.com/radio25. Promo code radio25.
Texting enrolls you in reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people who try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Here's some good advice. Let friends stay friends, and let the Jameson team sell your house. We're talking about Bob and Sandy